we get into any of that, as usual, for those of you listening or watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it if you can. Comment down below with anything you'd like to see us talk about or hear us talk about in any next episodes. And for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple, or any other podcasting platform, please follow and give us a 5-star review. It helps a lot with the algorithms and pushing us up to more viewers and more listeners, all right? But anyway, let's get on to the Man United Southampton game. Obviously, coming into this game, a lot of pressure on Ten Hag, right? So it was a big game for him, and we kind of discussed it on the last pod, what might happen or what could happen depending on, you know, the next kind of string of results. You go there, you get a 3-0 win. I'm going to say that really that scoreline, based off of the first 30 minutes, flatters, but off the last 60 minutes is about where it should have been. First 30 minutes,
we should have had more goals. To be honest,
exactly right.
The second half, it could have been 5 or 6-0. We battered.
Exactly. So, generally speaking, I think, you know, the result was fair. I do think it would have been a very different game had Southampton gone and scored that penalty, which Cameron Archer obviously missed. Could have been a different game, really, all round for Man United and for Ten Hag, and we would be having a very different conversation. But yeah, obviously, Dibbling, great performance, wins a penalty, causing Dalot real problems in that first 30 minutes. I don't think you've got any arguments with it being a pen, do you?
Nah, I mean, Dalot drives me nuts, man. But I'll talk about him in a minute. But yeah, I think that was a pen. And yeah, Dibbling was good, man. Don't know where the hell he came from, but boy, he looks decent. Decent player. He looks decent, man.
Vicar Dibbling out here, man's going nuts. But yeah, so Cameron Archer gets the penalty, steps up, absolutely bottles it. One of the worst pens again I've seen. Poor. It just looks like no one can take a penalty these days. Good save from Onana, obviously, just what you'd expect from him. That's what he needs to be doing with penalties, especially if he's going to have the smoke that he's coming for people with the whole pointing at things and doing all this other stuff, right? But then obviously after the momentum completely shifts to Man United. The Ligt, great header off of Bruno Cross. That's 1-0. Rashford, a bit of a dribbler. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really see it coming, but he manages to get it into the bottom right-hand corner. Great finish from Rashford. It's almost become his marquee goal. Not in the fact that it was a bit of a dribbler, but that like low across the goalkeeper shot after cutting in is almost his MO at this point, right? Like his trademark, because he did that against us. Obviously a much better goal because he megged people and then slapped it bottom corner. But that is kind of becoming his thing now, and it was a great finish from him. And he gets on the score sheet after what, like not scoring in like 6 months, which is mental to think of.
It's been a while, yeah.
Man definitely saw his EAFC score of 81, and it was he's going to be on a rampage from now on. And then second half, you just continue same fashion. Xerxes, Rashford, Garnacho, all doing really, really well. Stevens gets sent off. I think it was a soft red card, generally speaking, but honestly, I'm not going to complain about it too much because I don't think it really affected the outcome of the game all that much. I think they were still going to lose. And, you know, I give credit to Stevens because actually he was one of the only defenders in that team or the only players in that team that was really trying to get stuck into Man United and maybe cause them some problems. What do you think? Do you agree it was a red card? What's your standpoint on it?
It's a hard one, man, because when I first, obviously, I wasn't watching the game live, and I saw you guys' reaction in the group chat and stuff, and then I watched it back, and I don't know, man. That might be a modern red because I think he doesn't make a lot of contact, but I think it's a transition of the
game that Garnacho was gonna, about to go and do.
But it's also the area that he tries to make contact, because if he does make contact on the knee, you could F him badly. Like that's the thing. And I think he makes a little bit of contact on the knee, and so that they've justified it being a dangerous one. Like if he missed him altogether, he probably would have got a yellow. And that's the fine margins. But I feel like he doesn't make full contact, but he catches him in the knee. And I think that's the reason why. And it's more about the intent. Because let's be real, he was trying to clamp him, right? Like that was.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear that he was. There was a lot of momentum, and I think this is probably the biggest thing, right? Because when you're out of control, you're more likely to get a red card. Even if I think you get the ball, you can still get red carded because you're out of control, even though they don't realize that people are sprinting for at least half of this game, or if not more. So it's a really weird rule that they've got now where you can't run fast and try to tackle someone, because then it's basically given as dangerous play or out of control, this, that, the other. But I can kind of see, modern day football, that is what a red kind of looks like these days, which is really sad to say. And I'm going to sound like Turkish here, but game's gone.
Game's gone.
Obviously, you guys continue. You end up scoring your third goal in injury time, and a good, comfortable win against what I think is going to be a relegated Southampton team by the end of it. Do you want to talk about any of the players? Who do you think were the better players? I'm sure you've got something to say about maybe Ligt, but anyone else you want to call out for good performances?
Yeah, I think it was mainly the back. It was the centre-back pairing and Onana that came out of that game with any kind of major credit. Probably Ligt at the top of that, obviously, with his goal as well. But generally, all-round play, he looked really comfy. And him and Martinez both had a good game. Martinez was slyly quite good as well in this game as well. He was, passing through the lines, and he was making a lot of blocks as well, especially in that opening 30 minutes when we were a bit shaky. Ligt and Martinez and Onana were kind of keeping us in the game. And Mazraoui was decent as well, so I don't want to exclude him, but Mazraoui's just turned into one of these guys, touch wood, so far. He's just been like a 7 out of 10 every week, you know what I mean? He's not been sensational, but he's not been poor in any way. And so I'm really enjoying that at right back. I think he's been good. And I think Dalot is the opposite, because he got rinsed for that first half an hour. And fair enough, these youngsters, you can't do much prep on them, right? You don't really know how they're going to play. So there's always a chance you can get done a few times. But he was getting absolutely run back. Like, they just decided Dallow's the one, and they went for him non-stop. And Dibbling was cutting in. He had a shot as well before the penalty that, Onana makes a good save from as well. And he was just terrorising him. And Dalot has these games every now and again. I actually feel like his versatility is hurting him, because he's a right back. I'm going to be honest with you. He's a right back. And him at left back, he's decent, but he can get rinsed. And there's games where it can work. For example, against Saka or something like that, I feel like Dalot's had his best games, because that stylistically it makes sense. But
right foot to left foot, it makes sense.
Yeah, but this kid also had the same setup, this Diblin. He was also left foot cutting in, but Dalot was just getting absolutely killed. And I think the difference was, and this is not a slight at Saka or some wingers that are this way, but Saka a lot of the time cuts in, and this Diblin guy was going down the outside a lot. And I think Dalot didn't see it coming and didn't kind of adapt to what he was seeing, because Dibbling did it a few times, and you go, okay, so now I have to be respectful of maybe he's going to run down the line. And Dalot just still got sold every time with the cut in and then run out the outside, and that's where the penalty comes. So yeah, I would say the standout performances were all in our defence, minus Dalot. I think he had a poor game for the first half an hour, and then he was just average after that. But yeah, Rashi, I think he was decent. He looked more like himself. He had a couple of pot shots, and he was, trying things again, which is good. I think Xerxes also overall had a good game. I mean, he needs to start tucking away some of the chances he's getting, but his overall play was good. Like, he really linked things in quite nicely, and I feel like he played really well. So yeah, man, I just feel like first half an hour, very, very worrying. But second, or the rest of the 60 minutes, very quietly impressed. Because like I said, I feel like it could have been 5 or 6-0.
Do you think it was like the momentum issue of just like, all right, you got a bit of confidence off of the save penalty and that kind of turns you around? Or like, was there a tactical change you saw happen? Like, how do you go from being absolutely woeful to being pretty good?
Well, I think in possession of the ball, Ten Hag started inverting the fullbacks, both Mazraoui and Dalot, and brought us into the midfield, and we got onto the ball a bit more. Which didn't automatically stop the problems going the other way, but it just meant when we did have the ball, we had a bit more control, and then that allowed us to keep it for a bit longer once that kind of change happened. So I do give Ten Hag credit tactically. I do think he tweaked things after half an hour. But at the same time, I just feel like there's a big part of it that was just down to like the natural momentum swing of a game. So Nana makes the save, and then pretty much almost immediately, De Ligt scores, and the game goes, and I think it deflates Southampton. But I'll be real, I don't know how much it would have. I still think we could have beaten them even if they did score that goal, because let's be honest, they're poor, man. They're a poor team. Southampton are a poor team, and I mean, it would have given them a better chance to get a draw or a win, obviously, if they went 1-0 up. And who knows, maybe they could have got more momentum from it. But I still felt like
the style that they played as well. They could have tried. I doubt this because they look very much like a Burnley of last year, where it don't really matter what's going on. They're going to try and play this style of football.
I don't think it would have. They would have still kept, in my opinion,
a smarter promoted team grabs a goal and shithouses it until the end of the match.
Yeah, no, agreed.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think Southampton probably wouldn't have done that, and it would have been to their detriment. But obviously, this is all hypotheticals because Cameron Archer had an absolute stinker of a penalty. So I do think you were probably going to win it regardless, right?
Yeah, no, I just think stylistically it was not a good match for them. I'll be real. And Russell,
I don't know how many stylistically good matches they've got.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're going to be struggling most weeks if they keep playing this way. And everyone's forecasting it already with the Burnley comparisons. But yeah, I feel like they've got to show a bit more nous, be a bit. They're too naive right now to keep playing that way with the players that they've got. But yeah, no, overall I'm happy with the win, man. And I'm gonna just we're gonna have games most weeks where I feel like we have a very shaky period. We tend to be slow starters. So I would imagine most first halves are going to be difficult for us, especially away from home. But no, I don't even think we need to spend too much more time on this. I feel like the first half was...
I'm good with it. I don't really enjoy talking about Southampton at all, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, no. The thing I will just emphasise, though, that centre-back pairing is going to be vital. If they keep playing, and Ten Hag has kind of hung his hat on this, when he kept talking about all of the different centre-back pairings we had last season, talking about the injury point and everything like that. If he has De Ligt and Martinez together for a run of games, his excuse goes away. And fair due, Southampton are shut, right? No offence to Southampton fans, but they're shut. There's going to be much bigger tests than this. So we're going to need to see De Ligt and Martinez come out of this with they need to play like this against some of the better teams, and then I'll believe the hype. But it was a good start, man. And happy to get the 3.